I'm not setting out to bash men this afternoon. In fact, I rather like men. Wait for someone to rescue you. Rescue yourself. If you don't like the situation you're in, change it. When I was younger in my career, and I had some really great mentors, and I was all about me, quite frankly, and I thought everybody else was all about me being successful too. And I was really surprised to learn that not only was everyone not invested in my success, some people were actually invested in my failure. Recognize it early and move on, because you are not going to bring those folks around. It isn't about bragging. It's about owning your value. That is an amazing opportunity for you to remind your manager or your supervisor of your value and of what you've done. So don't pass that up. Fortunately, what we often remember are the things that caused us pain throughout the year. So when it comes to an opportunity to share your value and what you've done, use it as that, an opportunity. Several years ago, I had worked for a company, and I'd worked for this company for about 10 years, and I'd been promoted to vice president. I was very excited about this, and the chairman happened to have been my mentor. And I asked him one day, I said, you know, Dan, I've been working at this level for quite a while. Why did it take 10 years for me to be promoted to vice president? And he said, Charlene, it never came up. You never told anybody you wanted to be a vice president. How were we supposed to know? And I thought, really? Right? I had my head down. I was working hard. Well, guess what? It wasn't enough. And so from our executive leadership's perspective, I was on the mommy track, not the executive track. That decision was made for me. Men only have to meet about 50% of qualifications for a job in order to apply for it, right? Because from what I've read in the statistics, the view is, I'll learn the rest, right? Women, what percentage do we need to apply? 100%, statistically, 100%. Ladies, take the risk. If you've got 50% of the qualifications, guess what? That's good enough. You'll learn the rest. And we talked about sponsors, and I guess perhaps a sponsor is the closest thing to a champion. But a champion is that person in the senior ranks who can advocate for you, because everyone needs an advocate in the senior ranks. And I think for those of us who are senior leaders in the room, we need to be more active and proactive about finding people to advocate for. And I'll tell you, I had a champion, again, at this other company who actually saved my job for me one day. Something that I did didn't turn out quite like I wanted it to, so the president thought the best answer would be to fire me. I guess that was a choice. That was one of the options. And my champion stepped in, and she said what I couldn't say to the president, which was, you know, this wasn't her fault, this is how this happened. Everybody needs a champion. Fit matters. Okay? Let me repeat that. Fit matters. But that doesn't mean one size fits all. Okay? I find, and I've been in communications my entire career, and I've always been interested and seen many women executives who leave a company because they didn't fit in with the leadership team. It didn't have anything to do with their competence. They just didn't fit. And do you know how to tell when this happens? Well, I'll tell you the secret because I write the announcements. Right? When the press release comes out or the internal announcement comes out and it says she's leaving the company to spend more time with her teenage children. Okay? When you read that, now let's think about this, folks. If you have if you're a working mother, okay, and you have a teenager at home, there is no way you're leaving your job to spend more time with your teenagers. And quite frankly, your teenager is not interested in spending more time with you, okay? Well, we've been there. We've been there. Some of you still have that to come. But the point of the matter is when you're looking at that job and you're looking at that position, fit matters. You know, it matters if your values match. But it doesn't mean one size fits all. When I first started in Bechtel, I was very hard-pressed to walk down the hall in Reston and find somebody who looked just like me. And if I hadn't thought about the values of the company, my rash decision would have been, I don't fit in this place. I need to go. And I would have been wrong. There's no such thing as work-life balance, period. In my life, there is no such thing as work-life balance, and I'm not going to try to get it ever again, right? It's just a big fat disappointment. Anyway, make your decision about whether or not you're going to be a working mother or working father. Own that decision, and don't beat yourself up about it for the rest of the time that your kids are at home. Own that decision, and be okay with making decisions to make that work. You know, when my kids were little and I was trying to decide, well, actually, I wasn't deciding. My husband was trying to decide. Am I going to stay home? Am I going to go to work? And I thought, well, gee, if I'm a working mother, when my kids get older, they're going to be in therapy, and they're going to be laying down on that couch, and they're going to say to the psychiatrist, all of my problems are because my mother was never there, right? But then I thought, I've got 50% chance that they'll still need therapy, and they'll be laying on that couch, and they'll say, I'm this way because my mother was always there and she smothered me, right? So I decided my goal was not to keep my kids out of therapy, but just to minimize how much they needed, right? And to be happy in the process. And so I said, you know, make your decisions and stick with them. So I have what I call kind of my two dirty little secrets. One is I paid my daughter not to be a Girl Scout, and I'm quite proud of that. Okay? And I'll tell you the story. One year, this is my older daughter, name's Janae. She decided that she wanted to be a Girl Scout, although at her age it was a brownie. She wanted to be a brownie. So I said, okay. So I called the brownie mother, whatever they're called, and I said, Janae wants to be a brownie. I'm fully supportive, but understand, I work. I can't be at a meeting at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. This is Janae's deal. I'm more than happy to support her. And she said, oh, that's fine. You don't have to come to the meetings. Don't worry about it. So great. 3 weeks go by. I get a call. Mrs. Wheeless, Janae is the only girl who doesn't have her mother at the meetings. Do you think you could come to a meeting? Right? What I'm thinking is, hell no. But anyway, so the next meeting comes, and you can imagine this, right? You're trying to get out of the office or out of work because you've got something you need to do, and you're picking up your kid. She's changing clothes in the car. You know, you get to the meeting. I'm walking into the house. I've got my earpiece on. You know, I'm in my high heels. I still have my badge, and I sit down, and I look around, and who's looking back at me? The mommy mafia, okay? Right? These are the women in my neighborhood. They have cute little tracksuits. Their hair is in a ponytail. They're drinking mochachinos, and they're just looking at me with disdain, right? So I thought, not doing this again, right? And to make matters worse, when we got in the car on the way home, my daughter said, you know, Mommy, next time you come to a meeting, could you maybe dress like the other mothers? No, was my answer. So the following year, we're driving in the car, and she says, Mommy, I think I want to join Brownies again. I said, okay, sweetheart, but just think about this. I'll give you $100 cash if you decide not to be a brownie. Right? She thought about it for about a nanosecond, and she said, okay. Right? So I've been very fortunate to have a nanny since our kids were little. And now our kids, we've been empty nesters for, I guess, a year and a half now, going on our second year. And guess what? I still have a nanny. Okay? And I'm not going to apologize for that one either. Number 2. It's not all about you, okay? When I first started my career, I thought it was all about what I could bring to the table, what value I could bring. I was all about, you know, kind of Charlene Inc., right? And, you know, there are posters on the wall at work. There's no I in team, you know, we're better together. It takes teamwork to make the dream work, you know. And I'm thinking to myself, there's no team in I, but there is in victory and winner, So, right? But I'm happy to say that I evolved. I evolved as I wanted to grow in my career, and I realized that it's not all about me. It's about the team, because no matter what one person can accomplish, it pales in comparison to what a team can accomplish. And so it really is not all about you. And by the way, most of us got to where we are because of the help or the assistance or guidance of other people. So whatever level of success you've reached, it really doesn't matter if you don't reach out to help someone else who's on the way. And one more thing about it's all about you. The only thing these days I think that I would change about that is, as a leader, I would say that it is all about the authentic you, and bring the authentic you to work every single day, because people follow people, not positions. But what's that saying? A leader without followers is just a man going for a walk, right? Let me just ask you to think about this. If not you, then who?